You are now listening to Hustle Radio. I'm a mommy. I'm a mommy.
Yo, 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 you are now listening to Hustle Radio. I am Gucci A.
And this is Chantel.
And we have some beautiful ladies here from Visions Revealed. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is Tammara Caldwell-Willis.
I'm Tammyka Caldwell-Asberry.
Oh.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Oh, yeah, they're sisters. Oh. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Wonderful having you be here.
Yes,
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so for those of us who don't know, who is Vision Revealed?
Visions Revealed is an organization that my sister originally founded, and I came on board shortly after. It's a nonprofit organization. And if I leave anything out, help me out, but we go to the detention centers, the Cuyahoga County Detention Center. We always bring motivational speakers with us. We have the best volunteers. We go see the boys and we go see the girls. So we generally bring men to see the boys and women to see the girls. It has been so successful.
Absolutely. Basically, when this organization was founded, it was founded off of the premise of vision board workshops. Mm-hmm. I believe in vision boards completely, totally. I've been doing vision boards for about 9 years now. I believe in setting goals, having a visual, being able to see what you want to accomplish, because subconsciously you start to work towards it. Mm-hmm. And I've just felt like after doing my first vision board workshop that I wanted to take it out to the youth. I wanted to take it out to the youth that people had, kind of written off and decided, you know what, they're quote unquote bad. Yeah. They need to just sit in there. God kept placing them on my heart. And finally one day I contacted the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center and I went through the process of becoming a volunteer. My sister and my mother actually accompanied me the first time, and it was amazing. We had a praise dancer come in, and that experience let me know that we could not stop.
Just stop.
We had to keep going. The experience was amazing. The girls, of course, they sat in there and they were tough. They looking at us like, what you want, what you got to say.
Here? What you want?
But once we had a volunteer that was a praise dancer, she told her story. She connected with those girls and they started to let their guard down, and we saw that we had to continue to bring volunteers that could touch the kids and connect with them. That is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Lots of people say they want to come with us. Everybody can't, because we have to make sure that you have something to bring to those kids and that your heart is right. Mm-hmm. You have a real passion. You're not just doing this so you can say you did it, but you have something to offer those kids, because when we go in there, you can feel the heaviness and the spirit of the room and the atmosphere. Every time we leave, it's completely lifted, because we are genuine and praying and just trying to change their perspectives on their lives.
And also, like the toughest kid in the room is always the one at the end, or like towards the end, who's most engaged. Yes. And we pray in the beginning amongst each other, just us and the volunteers. At the end, we pray with the kids too, and we ask them, anyone wants to lead the prayer, and the toughest kid will lead the prayer, and it's like all of that was inside of you, everything, and it's just like so beautiful,
Yeah, you're bringing something out of them that they probably don't even see in themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids can tell like if a person is genuine. Like, excuse me, we talking. Oh, I'm sick. When you were talking about your volunteers, kids can tell if you're genuine. If you really want to be here, you're interested in their story and helping them, and they can tell if you're just here because they ain't had nobody else to come. Yeah.
So,
I like working with kids and youth that it's a nice thing. So,
and they're so smart. Those kids are so smart and talented. And once we did a poetry workshop yesterday, so we still on a high from that. It was so good.
Amazing. It's amazing. Actually, Raheem Stover, Wesley Robinson, and Michael Blair were our volunteers yesterday. And honestly, I didn't know you could teach poetry. I didn't know you could teach somebody how to write poetry. Wesley Robinson led the workshop. Raheem and Michael, they came in. It was amazing. Those boys wrote poetry that they didn't even know they had in them. One boy stood up and said, I didn't even know I could write like this. They wrote about people who had died in their lives, missing their family. It was absolutely amazing.
One boy wrote about his girlfriend and how much he loved her. And of course, some of the boys laughed at him, but it was so good.
And it was heartfelt.
Yeah.
So are the kids that's in the detention center and that you guys work with, are they volunteering to come, or do you guys just, how do you guys pick the kids that you want to work with?
They can actually, I didn't know initially that they can decline to participate in a volunteer activity. We have never had anybody say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not coming. I've never experienced that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any opportunities for like youth once they get out maybe, and some youth are not in there long, so is there anything or do you help them out in any type of way once they come home and to start working?
So that is what we're working on. We have actually been trying to establish relationships with organizations that are geared toward helping the at-risk youth. The Boys and Girls Club is one. I have made contact with Samantha Shaheed. She's the director of a career readiness program. And so that I was able to go in and give information for them about her program. There is another program at the Urban League I'm trying to connect. It's very hard to reach people in those organizations because they have such an overload of people that they work with. And so I want us to be that liaison that contacts these organizations. I actually was able to do it for one of our youth that we saw the first time we ever came. And we were able to connect her with the woman so that at the Boys and Girls Club, so that she can meet with her and get job training. So my goal for our organization is that we are able to establish these relationships and be a liaison, because the kids don't know how to always go after those opportunities on their own.
Right. Yeah, and you can go ahead.
I'm sorry. And a lot of times, like my sister said, they kind of throw these kids away. So what we're doing, a lot of people are not doing what we're doing right now, and it's waking a lot of people up. Like, I want to be involved in that. Especially our volunteers. This is something that they've been wanting to do, and the people that we reaching out to, it's like they like, I want to do that. It's
probably
who wouldn't want to help the youth?
Yeah. So. And I know I was asking because I feel like a lot of youth they get into trouble because they're bored. Like you said, they're smart. They're so smart. There's not a lot of things for them to do in the community or to do, so they get wrapped up, they get in trouble. So once they come home, they need constructive things to keep them, busy and keep them focused, because if not, then it's just a cycle. They go back and they go into the same cycle. But if they find something that they like or something that they can do well, then they stay out of trouble, because they don't have idle minds or idle bodies.
Exactly.
Tell them about Citron.
That's exactly what I was about to do. We think the same. We have the same mind. So, Citron, and he is a young man. He raps. And so what we did was Wesley Robinson, the first time he met that particular young man, he did a poem. Wesley did a poem, and he asked, does anybody know how to rap? And he slowly raised his hand. This young man said a rap. I call it a poem because to me it's the same. It's just how you say it. It was called Letter to My Judge. We actually got approved to get that poem from him, and now I pushed it a little further because I said, no, I want his voice. I want people to hear him say this poem. So it's going to be on our website.
www.visionsrevealed.net.
Okay.
Absolutely. It'll be on our website, and so that you can hear the passion and the hearts of these kids. When we talked to them yesterday, I said, I want all of you to continue to write. I want you to contact us because I want our website to be a platform for these kids' talents and all of their gifts. We always tell them this is not who you are. This is a part of your journey. This is something you did, a choice you made, but this is not who you are. Absolutely.
And I know Wes, he's a great, because his story is like crazy. He was in here poetry, and I was like, oh my God, I like that. Oh my God. So he's like an amazing person because he can relate so much. Yeah, I think.
Awesome. So we're going to take a break, but make sure you guys stay tuned because we'll be right back with more of Vision Revealed. Yo, welcome back to Hustle Radio. I am Gucci Ye.
And Chantel in the building.
And we have the beautiful ladies, Tammara and Tammyka from Visions Revealed, if you're just now tuning in. So, ladies.
If you're just not tuning in, you missed some good stuff. You missed some about their purpose and their business and all of that good stuff. So,
all right, so we're going to jump right back into this interview. I did want to ask you guys a question. So, I noticed that you guys use the word visions. So, what's the difference between, like, maybe visions and mentoring?
Well, we actually had a vision years and years ago. Everything is just finally coming full circle now. Okay. We always wanted to do something like this, and it's just like the pieces and parts of things that we've done. And all. I went here. I went here. I was a student here.
When it was the Ohio School for Broadcast.
Yes, I went here. I went to school for criminal justice. So, and it's like I was still trying to find my way, and I was interested in all these things. And my sister, she's always been involved in community-based type things. So, this right here is just like, we realize this is our vision. This is it. Like,
it's always been. It's all like basically what my sister is explaining is that it was always in us, and that's the whole point about finding your purpose. You start to realize that you've been walking along the path all along. You may have gotten misdirected, taking a different path from time to time, but you always end right back up on the path that you're supposed to, and that is what has happened with us. So for me, the difference between mentoring and vision is when you help someone to realize their vision, you actually work internally through that person. You help them to pour out of them what's already in them. A mentor does that to a certain extent, but it's not as deep for me. When you give somebody a vision, like what we talked about when we said we did that poetry workshop yesterday, those men in there, I keep saying their names, Wesley Robinson, Raheem Stover, and Michael Blair, they pulled out of those boys something they did not know was in them. So to me, that was beyond mentoring. They gave them a vision for themselves that God had already placed in those boys that they just couldn't see because of all the distractions. And also those young men taking on the labels that society puts on them. So when you take on those labels, you can't even see the greatness that's really in you.
Okay. All right, you guys are like two, like, you guys might be like my sisters. Like my sisters. Like, I'm so serious because I majored in criminal justice. I got a bachelor's in criminal justice, and I'm here at the broadcasting school too. And I did want to start a nonprofit organization for at-risk youth. I have a younger cousin. He's like an amazing kid, but he's always into trouble. And it's just like, what can I do to help you? Like, I'm the only person that, like that's in the family that could really reach him, that he'll actually listen to. Like, he won't listen to anybody else.
Start with a vision board. It's so funny because boys automatically think when they hear vision board, it's only for girls. So actually, someone gave me some advice that I actually took. Instead of calling it vision boards when we see the young men, we call it a game plan. Tell him to start a game plan board. When you see the images that he puts on that board, you'll get to see what's inside of him, and then that'll give you direction on how to motivate him.
Okay. Yeah, because it's so crazy, because it's just like, I used to intern for some judges down at the county, and what got me is the fact that why do we have to wait until a person or a child enters the criminal justice system to receive help, but then they don't receive help once they enter that system? And it's just like, what can I do before you get to that point
to prevent it?
And there's nothing you can do.
Well, you know what? You just led into something that I did want to mention. We also want to go to the recreation centers.
Okay.
And we have been given the green light to do a workshop at the Zelma George Recreation Center on September the 2nd. Wait a minute, what is that? It's a Saturday. It's either September 2nd or the 3rd, whatever that Saturday is. And we are going to do that at 1 p.m. And we want to start, touching the youth and reaching the youth before they get to the detention center. Give them a vision before they go into that direction.
Because those same kids that's at the recreation, and I'm always there. I have 3 sons myself. So I'm always at the recreational centers with my sons. And those kids are going through the exact same thing that the kids that's in a detention center are going through. You can tell the kids who don't really have, who are there because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Right.
They feed them there, So it's like, it's important for us to reach out to all over Cleveland.
Okay.
It's a lot going on in Cleveland that, we got the Cavs and, people see that. But it's a lot of things going on in Cleveland that's not okay.
Exactly.
And we are doing a documentary. We're in a process right now of doing a documentary. It started off almost like an infomercial because we just wanted people to know about Visions Revealed, because we can't video the kids because of confidentiality. So they don't really know what we do. They can't see it. So we decided to take it further and just kind of show what's going on in Cleveland and why these kids are there and a lot of the conditions that they faced with.
And I remember I was talking to some of my coworkers at the summer program, and this one guy was saying, like you said, some of the most difficult children, I'm so sorry, they break through like the boundaries, and people don't talk to them. They don't talk to their kids. They don't talk, and they don't be in relationships. You think just because I'm your parent or I'm your sister that we automatically gonna get along, or you're automatically gonna just be everything right. No, you need to talk to kids. That's what they say. They don't talk to me, so they get bored. They go out and do things, and they seek things, seek people that will talk to them and give them attention, positive energy, because they don't get that. Like you said, so they end up in a place where they get attention, not the best type, but it's about, they get that attention that they seek. So, you got to talk to your kids and.
And a lot of it is generational situations. One of the kids there, he was saying how his mother is in jail and his brother is in the pod over, so it's like, the kids are being raised with people who weren't raised, and it's hard to get out of that, and that's been going on forever, but we just hope that, like, through what we do, and I know for a fact, like, they may not go straight arrow, but they will never forget some of the tools that they've been given from us and the volunteers. Like, you have to be there. We can tell you about it, but you have to be there. It's really like almost spiritual. And when we done, thank you. They just can't stop thanking us, And you got to be careful with the hugging and stuff. But sometimes you just gotta hug them because they babies,
It's so funny because you guys are like making me emotional, right? And I'm trying to figure out. I used to mentor in Bedford, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the difference between, like, why am I getting so emotional speaking to these guys versus, mentoring at the middle school? And I think it's, like, really a spiritual vibe that I get, and it's just, like, a really, really good energy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We prayed before we came in here. Everything that we do, we want it to be led by God, because we pray that what we say is already ordained by Him. What we say is already led by Him, because that's the only way we get the results that we get with those children.
Okay. And what is it exactly? Because I know, like, I have a heart for at-risk youth because I have a younger cousin. And so, like, when I see these younger boys, I just think of him. And so that's why I just be like, oh, I just want to help you. So what was it that actually, like, I know you guys taught us how you got started, but what was it that sparked that, like, I just want to help these youth?
Well, I'm going to speak for myself right now, because my sister, the documentary end was always in her. I had pulled together some paperwork for her years ago. Documentaries has always been her thing. For me, I've always had a heart for people that were incarcerated. I was always the one who wrote all of our family members who were incarcerated. I think that a part of it for me is I had suffered from depression years ago, and so I know what it feels like to be like incarcerated, even though you're physically free, but to be bounded, but to feel like you're in bondage emotionally and not able to get out, you know. Right. So I think just me struggling with that for a long time, you know, a lot of years, even when I was a child, you know, I would struggle with these feelings, and I wrote poetry. So that's how I helped myself. It was therapeutic for me to write poetry. I still have a book. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, you were writing about a black hole, the world being a black hole, and you were 7, you know. I used to write. And so I felt like I always had a heart for people who were incarcerated, and I think it was that connection, you know, them just being like in bondage. And just one day, but see, this is the thing, and I keep talking about God because I have to. God will lead you. I had a friend. She actually passed away in May of 2016, who would not stop telling me I needed to get this out there. And she introduced me to motivational speaker Les Brown through YouTube. So I would listen to him, and subconsciously, he started to help me to move toward that passion that I had in my heart. And it was always for these kids that are incarcerated, because adults, I'm not saying that they, you know, we can help them as well. Everybody needs guidance. But when you work with the youth, you're giving them a chance before they have to go down some of the roads that adults go through.
Well, myself, when I look at those girls and the boys, I see myself. I went through some tough times as a child, being rebellious, and I just didn't get caught on some stuff, you know, and end up there. But I went through some tough times, and just, you know, going through what teenagers go through, and a lot of things that we go through even as adults, those things we went through at 14 or 13, they still right there. Mm-hmm. You can still feel it. And when I look at those girls, I'm just so connected to them, because, you know, you have to let things go. But I realized looking at them, I haven't let some things go that I went through at their age. So I'm just hoping that we can help them to just keep moving, you know, just keep moving. Don't linger on in it.
Right. Okay. So I need some advice, right? So, like, I have a thing where I'm, like, a really family-oriented person. And so sometimes I felt like my happiness is based off the happiness of my family. So, like, with my younger cousin, it's just like, oh, my God, I just want you to be on the right path so bad. Like, it's, you know, it's sad when you're happy that someone is in jail and not on the street in Cleveland.
Because they're safer.
Yeah, I feel like my blood pressure is lower now because I used to be afraid to answer my phone when he was just out here, because I would just think, like, oh, my God, I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. And I would just constantly think that, like, all the time, like, please, God, do not let anything happen to him. And when he went to jail, I'm just like, I'm sad that you're in jail, but now, I don't have to worry about you as much. And it's the same thing with my kid's father. It's just like, oh, he makes so many bad decisions, but I know you're a good person. And that's why, like, I don't know, a lot of times, like, people may look at me different because I usually see like the good in people,
And that's how I am.
and they're like the bad
worst.
person.
Yeah.
But it's just like, well, you don't see like this person really has a heart.
Yeah,
And they
that's
do.
how I am.
Yeah, everybody has a heart. But you know what the thing is? Sometimes people have to really hit rock bottom to, hopefully they don't, but a lot of times they do and have to call on God and realize that's the only way that I can come up out of it. I have to change my way of thinking, my faith. I can't put my faith in my boy or, you know, the streets or whatever. I have to put my faith in God.
Right.
And all that other stuff that was important, it won't be important anymore because you realize God is in control of everything. And if you follow him, you'll be okay. So, I mean, that's hard for a young person to really, you know, to preach to them and stuff a lot of times. But that's why I say it's almost like they have to really go through something in order to just surrender.
Yeah.
And me being the half glass full queen who has gotten, you know, I have went through a lot of stuff because the person, you know, most people would see the person for what they were doing. I would go all the way deep down. They're like, what do you see? Where is this?
Right.
Give me the glasses that you have on. And so I spent a lot of my life trying to force the passion that I had for people to do better and to be better more than they had. I would create resumes for everybody I knew, my family, friends, and if I write this resume up for you and you don't really take it anywhere, it's pointless.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I finally found something where I feel like my efforts are going to be fruitful because these kids are in a place where they feel like they have hit rock bottom and they're looking for something to motivate them and to pour them up. So my advice to you is try your hardest to pour into people that are ready for your help.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you will become burned out. I'm telling you, I was so burned. And I think that also attributed to a lot of my depression because I made choices.
Taking on everybody's stuff plus your own.
Everybody's stuff, yes.
I was listening to, I don't know if you guys listen to like DMX, but
Oh, he has
but
a great
I love him. Like he's so spiritual.
He is.
Okay.
And he said something in an interview that stuck with me, and I seen this interview probably a couple years ago. But he said, "Look for the good and the bad, not the sun when it rains." And I was just like, "Whoa!" Like that's a good way to look at things.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
That's good.
No. I'm trying my best over here to like not cough while you guys are talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tell over here about to die in the studio,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm trying my best to actually not die right here in this chair. I'm just listening
Don't
to you guys
die,
and
don't
soaking
die.
it up. Yeah, don't. Today. Not today.
So who else do you guys collab with? Like, is there any other organizations that you guys?
Are you guys hiring for anything? I need to do another job.
Well, we hope to. We want to not just go to the detention center here. We want to take this all over. You know, we want a building. We want somewhere.
So is
for
that your goal? I was just about to ask, like, in
Yeah.
5 years, where did you guys see visions revealed to yourself? But
In 5 years, I see Visions Revealed having an actual physical building where we can be the resource that we want these kids to have, where we can be the place where they can come and get job training, or at least we can be the people that already have connections where we can set up the appointments, lead them to where they need to be, even hold classes in our building. We want to be all the help that we want these kids to get. That's where we are.
even counseling too. A lot of these kids have psychological issues and things that they really need help with. They put them on medication in a lot of these facilities, and that's not really helping.
How do you feel about that? I am not an advocate for medication. Like, if I'm sick, I'm gonna go to sleep. When I wake up, I'll feel better. I cannot do the medicine thing at all. How do you guys feel about that?
Honestly, I believe, and this is just, my personal belief, I think that we have the healing that we need inside of us. I think that once it goes so far, though, sometimes we are forced by panic to take medication and things like that. I'm a diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I take insulin, but I don't believe that I will have to be on that forever. And I've been on it since I was 11 years old, a long time. But once I get focused on really healing myself, I honestly believe that we have the power to heal ourselves of mental, physical, emotional illnesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so too, but I think sometimes it's needed. I feel bad for kids who need it and they don't ever get it, cause sometimes,
So we're gonna take a break. We'll be back, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to Hustle Radio. I am Guccier.
And this is Chantel.
And you guys wanna
say your names?
Visions Revealed.
Yep.
I thought I was gonna hear Tammara.
Right. I'm Tammyka.
And I'm Tammara.
Visions Revealed.
I'm sorry.
That's so funny. I did want to talk to you guys about the whole, I know you wanted to expand, and when I was back in school, it was a class that I had, but it wasn't like a class. It was kind of something different, and it was called the Poverty Experience. And we went to New York, and we was able to travel to New York, just all over by ourselves. But we got to speak with different nonprofit organizations, and I wish you guys could be a part of it because it was such oh my God.
Yeah,
it was such a great experience, and I know you guys want to expand. I don't know if Bowling Green still gives that course, but if so, I would try to get the contact information because that would be so ideal for you guys.
That sounds very interesting. Oh yeah.
And then while we were on break, we were talking about Vision Hopes. Could you guys let the audience know about that?
Visions of Hope is where we feature different stories on people who have had a past, and it's their past, present, and future. The things that they've been through. Some have been incarcerated. They tell their story how they led up to being incarcerated while they were there, and the changes that they've made in their life. Some are working men now with families, and all of it is to encourage the reader. So if you go to our website, www.visionsrevealed.net, go to Visions of Hope, and it's some stories in the archives as well that, we try to feature new stories, but they're all there on the website. And it's just interesting to hear people's journey.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good. When I was in New York for the poverty experience, we got to stop at Sing Sing. And because I was a criminal justice major, I was one of the students that was picked to speak to about, it was 7 or 8 different prisoners. And so they told us their whole, why they were in jail, what they were working on. And they were so intelligent and so intellectual. It was crazy. We had people that were writing books. It was authors. They got degrees. And it was just so many different things. And I'm just oh, my God, and you're here. How did this happen?
So much untapped potential in prisons, in juvenile detention centers. It's amazing. When you talk to the youth and when you talk to the adults that are incarcerated, they have so much to offer.
Right. It's so crazy. So I know you guys plan on expanding. How do you plan on reaching the larger institutions?
Well, for me, my attitude is always, there's nothing to it but to just do it. So once because right now we're trying to hone in on the youth right now with the documentary that we're putting together, is to basically let people know what we're doing so that we can get more support, so that we can attract more passionate, we want passionate people. We want people that have a heart for this. The volunteers that have worked with us have been nothing but passionate and genuine. So we always want to attract genuine people who have a heart for this, who are headed down the path to helping the youth. And we also we want to make sure that we can gain support in all different areas and aspects so that we can expand.
Who do you think your biggest supporters are?
That's what I was gonna kind of talk about. The thing is, our biggest supporters right now are people sometimes that we don't even know. they see what we're doing, and it's like, wow, and we meet so many wonderful people. Of course, we want support and we want people to, see what we're doing, but it's not about us. It's not about us. I like being in the background. I like putting this together, it's just about being humble, and these are that's why it's so great, because our volunteers, they are so humble. They just tell us what to do, we'll do it, and because they see they're there, they see what we're trying to do, and we're not it's not for fame, it's not about us, you know what I'm saying? So
this is something that we have to do. It's something that I know I cannot leave this earth before I know I have completed what I'm supposed to complete.
Do you guys take donations or anything for anything? Do you guys
do. We have a website, the website that my sister just talked about, and there is a donate tab, because we go in the detention center and we pay for all of this out of our own pockets. I have a friend who, Idrea Hill, I'm going to say it because she faithfully donates to us every 2 weeks. We bring food in there. We bring these deli sandwiches that the volunteers love. We feed the guards. We feed the kids. We come in with cupcakes, with punch and juice, and we give the kids journals so that they can write their goals out. When we do the vision board workshop, we have to bring supplies in there so that they can decorate their boards, the posters, the glue sticks, all of this stuff. So yeah, we definitely have a donate tab.
Okay, I like donating to causes and things.
Do Idrea Hill got a son named Steven?
Yes.
I used to date Steven.
Small world. That's so funny.
She's so freaking beautiful. I love her.
Idrea is so low key and private. She is gonna be like, why? Why did she do that to me? Because I love you and you have been such a great support.
Yes, thank you, Idrea.
So you guys have husbands and families. Is it hard to balance all of these things?
It is.
I know you said you have 3 sons?
I have 3 sons, and my daughter is going to college next month.
Oh wow!
So yeah.
I'm not even old enough to have a daughter that going to college.
She's 18. She just turned 18. So it's a lot going on in our personal lives. We still taking care of home and working a full-time job.
How do you deal with that mentally? Because sometimes I just be wanting to break down and cry so bad. Okay, I need help. This is too much.
Me and my sister balance each other out, because I am the kind of person who I've always done 50 million things. And she's like, we gotta hone in on this, and this. So we actually help to balance each other out. I have a husband. I have 2 sons, 17 and 9 years old, and my little one is a lot more. He's just like me. He's very dramatic. He's very voiceful, and he will express. He's like, Mommy, so you bought those kids cupcakes, but you didn't buy us. So now I have started to buy cupcakes for my house. And they never cared about cupcakes before. Even my 17-year-old.
You're doing
right.
But it's I gotta pay attention. So just like yesterday, we go on Sundays to the detention center. We have to go home, cook, clean, wash clothes, and do everything, and get up and go to work.
So when do you guys sleep?
Early.
It's, when you working on, and I'm not just saying this, but when you're working on something like this, it's it's okay, because I see this going. Yeah. So it's worth it. It don't feel like work. When you see, this is the thing too, and I'm gonna plug Dr. Miles Monroe. Y'all read his books. When you are doing a job, is a job. A job pays your bills. Your work is the work that God put in you, so it don't feel like work because you're completing your purpose. Amen.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that is that's a lot of balancing, though. A lot of balancing. So you guys take trips with your families and stuff. Just sometimes you need a break. Is there ever a time you just I'm not doing nothing. I'm not. I need to take a break.
We haven't taken any trips this year because I got a child going to college, so I'm trying to get everything together. But I just, we were supposed to film that day, and I said, Tammara, I just want to get off work and go to the beach and take the kids and just go to the beach and just relax. So it's just times like that when we got to kind of cut it and just, take some time. And I want my sister to do that a lot more because I couldn't do it that day. I just needed to relax. So
We've been at this since October of 2016, and we have went every 2 weeks since. We go every 2 weeks to the detention center. The boys and the girls, so.
That's pretty cool. That is
so freaking like I love these guys.
Oh, thank you.
They're so awesome. So is it weird working with your sisters though? Like, I could not work with my siblings. I'm sorry. My brother right here calls me like every day, like, and I just be like, leave. Like, he called me like, leave me alone. So I just cannot imagine. Like, I love him to death. He's one of my biggest supporters. He plugs me in, but it's like, no. I gotta get away.
It's just funny though, because like I'll say something or do something and my sister would give me a look and I'm like, all right, I'm talking too much. Or I was too, she thinks sometimes.
She's bossy. She's so bossy.
But you seem quiet. You seem like very like mellow. Like you're like the quiet. Are you tricking her? You're like the quiet and mellow one, and your sister is like the. But no, you're the bossy one. It's
She's so bossy.
I think it's a natural way for me to be as the oldest. It's just the order that we fall in, and I am all about. A lot of times, I'm all about. Okay, we need to do this, and my sister is like, hold on, we already have this, and this. So, like I said, I have fallen back. We are really this experience. It has humbled us. I have learned how to be quiet. You think I'm quiet because I have learned to let her
talk.
speak.
She let me talk today. I'm talking
years ago. I would have been talking the whole time, and then I would have looked over like, oh shoot, I forgot.
Sorry, sis.
Right. But I enjoy being in the background too, though. Every now and then I'm like, hey. But I enjoy making the projects and making it all come together and just being creative. That's my thing. I love being creative. So you allow me to do that part, and that's where I shine. Just the creative part of it.
Talk about the creative visions tab.
With artwork, yes, on the website. People submit their artwork. They've been from all over, not Cleveland, just everywhere. And they are so good.
I think I was checking out your guys' Instagram and I seen you posted some artwork or something by someone with the name with a Z or something, but I was just scrolling through, so is that like a piece that's featured on the website as well?
So yes, what I like to do is put on our social media the artists that have submitted work. I have artists that submit work to our website, and I try to put a little blurb about them on the website so that people can contact them, all of their social media. I feel like artwork is so inspiring. I cannot draw, but I think it is so inspiring when you see a beautiful piece of art, and we want to make sure that people get inspired when they come on our page, because that's what it's all about. If you are an artist, then you look on that page and it will motivate you to realize you can do it too.
Right. You're so amazing, Anna. You're lost for words.
I'm just
starstruck in here. It's like gazing up. Aw. Yeah.
But we have to take a break, so we'll be right back with more of Hustle Radio.
Okay, yeah, again, we're back on Hustle Radio. This is Chantel, and we have Diane, and we also have the beautiful ladies from Vision Reveal. You guys want to give us your names again?
Tammara.
And I'm Tammyka.
And if you guys are just tuning in, we've talked with these ladies. We've talked with these ladies about their nonprofit organization. They kind of gave us some background history, their visions. They have dropped the website and told us how you can find them. So now we're going to get into some community issues, some community things. The first one I think we wanted to address is the thing about the dirt bikes. The dirt bikes are becoming a problem in our city of Cleveland. I mean, it was even a kid that got ran over. It's so much like the dirt.
Got ran over.
An 8-year-old kid got injured or something.
By a dirt bike? Oh yeah, they need.
On top of them, they're trying to pass this little dirt bike. I should know the name of it because I'm doing a project, but it's some type of reform thing or something. I don't know, but. It's a lot of communities people. A lot of community people are like complaining because they're riding up on cars and hoods and they're kicking our cars and stuff. So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel because it's a good outlet, and I feel like if they would build more parks and more places for them to do it safely, it can actually be a good thing for Cleveland because they can build parks, they can host shows, but we can't have kids getting injured and all that type of stuff, right?
But that's the problem in the inner city. We don't have those kinds of things for kids to do. They should be able to have an open field. Look at all these abandoned buildings everywhere. Tear them down.
Yeah.
You know, the school we went to, it's still there. It's just horrible. It's just an eyesore. It's so many areas in the inner city that they can tear things down so that the kids can. I mean, not even necessarily the dirt bikes, but just something for them to do instead of, I mean, we're finding dead bodies of children in abandoned houses.
Yes.
Look at all the abandoned houses.
Yes.
All over Cleveland.
Okay, and that's so crazy. So, like, we can get into the crime rate thing. Like, my thing is, I said I want to go for mayor until I found out that I was like, well, I could be the mayor of East Cleveland. But somebody's like, you got to live in East Cleveland. I was like, oh.
no, never mind.
Hold up. Well, maybe I could go run somewhere else.
It's that bad, and that's a shame because East Cleveland used to be one of the most beautiful places.
The houses
they are still so big, but
they're abandoned. Yeah, like I'm going to buy a house in East Cleveland. I keep telling everyone East Cleveland is going to flourish again. And when it does, Chantel's going to have property in that neighborhood, and they're going to have to pay me top. I'm going to fix it. I'm telling you, I keep telling people, like, get on the vision. Get on the vision.
Yeah.
I do. They have no choice. It can't be like that forever. Like, it can't stay the same forever. It has to change.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I was like, well, if I run for mayor, I'm tearing down all these bandos. Like, they got to go. Because what are you doing? Like, I'm like, the people, whoever is the mayor of the city or whatever, you need to start banning, or not banning, but what do you call that? I forgot the name of it. But basically,
it's no money. Like, it's no money there, and I feel like they just don't care. Like, you will forget it's a city. Like, it's like a ghost town. You're out there. It's like, what is this? Like,
police cars.
So horrible. Like, the lights don't even hardly work. The lights are horrible. Everything is just
holes.
the chuck holes.
We ain't gonna talk about the chuck holes.
Like, yeah, I can't. But do you know that you can? If you get your car fixed and you like, so say you catch a flat tire due to like a chuck hole or something like that, you take it to the city and they can reimburse you.
Really?
I wonder how much you gotta go through.
How much
that.
Like you gotta take it to like city hall or something like that.
It's gonna be a lot of work though. They're not just gonna give it out easily.
Yeah. It's crazy, but I was just thinking, like, what actually contributes to the crime rate? My aunt gonna tell me. I was interviewing her, or she was co-hosting with me on the show. I think it was like my first show I ever did, and she gonna say, well, whenever I'm on Kinsman, I don't stop at lights. I'm like, what? She like, I run through lights.
Okay, so we grew up on Kinsman. I still live on Kinsman, and my street is fairly okay because it's like people still own their homes on it's a couple of streets over there, but it's still a lot going on, okay? But at the same time, it's like, even if I were able to leave, I'm not one of those people who would say, I'm gone, I ain't never coming back, I'm never. My sister as well, she has been doing a drive for a daycare for the past how many years?
Harvest Daycare. It has been
on Kinsman Garden Valley.
2005. Yeah.
And you know, I've been with her a couple of times, and you know, just get these kids toys, and they look forward to her coming. So like, it's bad, and you know, a lot of bad things happen. But at the same time, it's like, even the suburbs, they going down.
They are.
I live in Maple, and we have had fighting on our street it was fighting on our street for 3 days straight. Finally, it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A group of kids kept coming onto our street to get one girl who they had already blacked her eye.
Oh my God.
They had stuffed her face. It was horrible. And me and my husband, this last day, I said, look, before the police are called, let's try to go out and get these kids. And he looking at me like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, let's try to at least stop these kids from doing this. And he went ahead and he said, okay, you stay here and I'll go down. So I waited till he was far enough before I start walking behind him. But the thing is that you talk about the crime rate. When the Bible verse says, where there is a lack of vision, the people will perish. If you don't see anything more for yourself, if you don't see anything more for your life, then you just do whatever, you know, you feel like doing. You don't have any standards because you feel like there's nothing for you to accomplish, there's nothing for you to do. So you just you start to have destructive behavior,
right?
And so I think that if we start to really spend quality time in our communities and reaching out to these kids, that to me, that's always the solution. It's the children.
Yeah, so it's even bad in Maple. That's crazy, which is why I keep telling you, East Cleveland, first you had all the uppity people, they were there, and then you had some people, the black people or whatever, they start flocking. Now they're going to leave, so where are they going to go? Right. They're going to leave the suburbs. They're going to go back to the rundown places, fix them up.
Cleveland Clinic, they rebuild.
They're going to do all of that.
Our family is from Cedar, so riding through Cedar sometimes it's just like, look at Cedar. I mean, it's coming up.
Yes,
definitely.
So what ward is Kisman in? What ward is that?
4.
See, oh my God, we've been paying fire hydrants and, in the neighborhoods, like in all the wards, and I'd be like, Ward 4. I'm like, oh no, I think we're in Ward 4 now. I'm like, oh no, it's like trees, the bears on trees. I'm just like, oh my God, did someone pass here? And I'm not from Cleveland, so I'm not even used to like the area. I'm like, oh no, I gotta stay out here, and it's so sad. Like crime rate is just like,
and that's the new thing
up.
To put teddy bears and like if myself or any of my loved ones, I don't want to ride past and see a bunch of teddy bears. That's not symbolic to me. I think it's sad. I know that's how people now express. They can put liquor bottles or whatever. Please don't do that to me. I don't want that. Like,
I don't want liquor bottles.
Something that I want to be remembered by. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but people try to do that because when you pass, they want, they want always. We was talking about funerals. You want that, the representation, oh my God, what's the word? The representation. Is that the word? You want that to be of the true person, so if they like their liquor bottles, not saying put them there.
So if you love
liquor bottles,
I'm gonna have you a bottle again.
See that? Like,
don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't put bears and stuff on the tree where I live. That either, like, come on.
Yeah, it's just so many. I mean, that's the thing. It's so many. Everywhere you ride, you like, okay. And these kids, it's normal. Oh, somebody got killed right there. Somebody got killed right there.
That is just so scary that's becoming the norm.
It's sad. It's very sad.
Didn't they mark Cleveland, like, I think it was last year, I seen it on the internet, like the most bloodiest year or something like that, like 146 deaths. But what's so crazy is I'm looking at that and I'm just like, this doesn't even include the amount of people that has been shot. Because I was on Kinsman just visiting a friend one day and my car was shot up and I got shot in the arm. And I don't never even go on Kinsman. Like, I'm not from Kinsman. I don't know anything about Kinsman, nothing at all. Never ever been to Kinsman.
But there's some streets over there where it's just like horrible. Like just in these areas, I'm like, people, like, it's abandoned houses. Why are they still up? I know it's the street Meach. It's like Meach, like 100 and something. Like it's like a one way. It's like back there, it's nothing good coming out of there. It's probably dead bodies. Like there's no way it's nothing good coming in that area. It's abandoned houses. It's nothing. There's no type of way there's nothing good coming out of there. Like,
and these kids have to walk to school. Think about
that. That's so
they gotta
scary.
Walk to school through that. You know what? My kids, my daughter is so funny. Like majority of our family live in Maple, so she's like, I'm from Maple. But I never wanted her to be exposed to a lot of things over there. She's a girl too, So like, I can't even say she caught the bus before, and I just try to, keep her okay to where she's not exposed. It's some ill things going on. Like it's so ill, and we almost are. It's like we used to it. Like
it's not even shock no more. It's not even shock.
Sometimes I have to be like, wait a minute, that was so crazy what just happened. But it's almost like
in your brain. You're used to it now.
So like, how do you raise your children? Like, so like my kids, they're raised in like Bedford. But me growing up, I grew up in East Cleveland, but as we got older, we moved to nicer, like more suburban like areas and stuff like that. So like with me and my brothers and sisters, we were able to experience both, like living in the suburbs and living in like a hood place, I guess. So like, how do you, I feel like I got the best of both worlds and I'm able to value things and appreciate things more. So how do you instill that in your children where it's just like, okay, you're growing up in this area and you're growing up in this area? Like, how can you balance that out with your children?
I think it comes from communication. You have to allow them to see what they did not have to experience. Like me and my husband, we take our children to feed the homeless, and we, I have my husband and children come to the Harvest Daycare to pass out the toys, you know, that I have co-workers and people that contribute to that effort as well. And so you have your kids to be a part of giving. That was the hardest thing for my youngest son. My oldest son had been doing it since he was 5. Mm-hmm. But my youngest son, the first time he came to the Harvest Daycare to give toys, he was like, I want this. What do you mean? Like, I had to keep having him come so he understood. Yeah. You know, there are people that are less fortunate than you, and you're supposed to give. That's what life is supposed to be about. So it's not that you have them actually lived in some of those environments, because you love them and you want to protect them. Mm-hmm. But they do need to be exposed so that they can understand that they are blessed to be where they are.
Absolutely. And you were saying, I remember you was asking, like, why I think the crime rate is so bad, like you said, the area, but think about some of the roughest neighborhoods and areas. What do you see close to it? The little convenience stores that sells tobacco, that sells the cigarettes. You know, if you're in the suburbs, you see them, but they're not as close together. It's not so many. It's like generational. We know this area is bad. We know they doing this. It's like from a business and marketing, it's like you guys are some marketing geniuses. Like, you know this area is rough, and you know the place, but it's by design. But some of it is like, it's so sad. Like, we live in these neighborhoods, we have these little tobacco stores or these little liquor stores, and everything is so close together. So you have a youth or a person that's bored. It's nothing else for them to do in the neighborhood. So they walking by with their basketball or whatever, they're like, oh, or they see somebody else come out. It's like, you know, it goes in your head, and it's like a cycle, and the cycle continues. It's like
Brother Raheem put it best yesterday when he said it went from the corner to the block to the trap, and he broke it down how now it's a trap for the kids, and they don't, and they were just listening and absorbing what he was saying, and I can't word for word break it down, but it was so good, because at the end of the day, it is a trap for them to end up in jail where they at, you know. And it's just like, we just don't take the time sometimes to just think about it, because you're so busy in it and living. And these kids, they don't really have much to work with, you know.
Right. And that's what like, they don't have a chance. Like, a lot of them are poor. They're in these neighborhoods, and their parents was in there. Their parents. So that's all they know. That's all that they have.
And that's the whole beauty of Visions.
And I was just about to say, that's why Visions Reveal is good. Yes.
We have to give them a new perspective. Yes. Because if they wake up, go outside, and this is what they see every day, we have to teach them and give them the tools to be able to see something more and see beyond their current circumstances. And what Raheem did yesterday was give them a different perspective on that cool word that they used to talk about the dope house being a trap. They all sat back. It's like you could see their faces. Like, it hit them. Like, a trap.
Exactly.
It's so sad. It's like, that's why Visions Reveal is good, because like these kids are in places, it's like it's not meant for them to make it out, and then you guys come along and change that, and it's like model citizen, making model citizens.
It holds us accountable too. Like, I have 3 sons, a 14-year-old, and my twins are 8. So it's like they going through stages in their life. They're not bad kids at all, though, but they do little things here and there, you know, get in trouble. But they know what their mother and their auntie is doing, and they like, they in jail. The kids in jail. I'm like, that's what can happen if you do A, B, and C, you know. So kids, they don't even think that you can go to jail being a kid, being an 8-year-old. I'm like, you can't go to jail.
And then they would go to school like, my mommy and my auntie, they work here, and they said if you do this, you can go to jail, and you know.
And it puts it in their mind, because when we were coming up, it was only a few kids we knew that actually was a DH. But like, that's a packed house where we go. Packed.
They have children. They told us, we have not seen an 8-year-old, but there has been 8-year-olds in that facility. The kids there that we've seen have been between the ages 12 to 20 years old.
So sad.
Those are babies.
It's crazy. Well, we would definitely like to thank you guys for joining us. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to say before we closed out?
You know, I wanted to shout out one of our volunteers who is promoting a book. Her name is Tammy Gaffney. She is on Facebook as Tammyka, Tamenta Gaffney. Sharing My Shoes is her book. She came with us and she did an awesome job with the youth, with the young girls. So I just want everybody to check out her book, Sharing My Shoes.
And then where can they find, or did you want to say something?
I wanted to add too, our volunteers are just regular people who want to share their stories. It's a release to get some things off of your chest that, you know, sometimes people don't even know what they're going to say sometimes when they get in front of those kids. And it's like, it just, so much comes off of them.
Yes.
It's therapeutic. Yes. So don't be afraid to give some of yourself, because it's going to help you too in the end.
Okay. And where can they find you guys? How can people
social
contact
media
you?
handles?
Visions Revealed on
Facebook. We're on Facebook as Visions Revealed. We also have our own personal pages that you can contact us on. I'm Tammara Caldwell-Willis.
Tammyka Caldwell-Asberry.
We're on Instagram as Visions Revealed. The website, everybodypush.net. It's www.visionsrevealed.net.
And the home page is not the only page. Click on the tabs.
Right, because they do have a tab for donation.
And to volunteer too.
Yes,
and
right.
those
And
newsletters.
artwork.
So check it out. I'm gonna go check it out myself. So
Yeah, I definitely got to go look at it. I want to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
For having us.
All right, you are listening to Hustle Radio. Make sure you check us out every Monday from 2 to 4 p.m.
on NorthCoastUnderground.com, or the Facebook is Ohio.
The Ohio Media School. But you can check us out at beonair.com.
I'm sorry, beonair.com. I'm just so used to it.
One dribble, steps back, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound tip taken by Spades. Final seconds. It's over. It's